Welcome to CandleLight Audiobook. The Secret Misses. Chapter 251. Chapter 251. Luna narrowed her eyes slightly after hearing this. This was already not the first time that she had heard other people say that Stacy hated artistes like her. It was impossible to say that she didn't care. After all, this was the person who would fight this battle with her in the future. If their beliefs were incompatible from the beginning, how would they be able to continue cooperating later? Stacy noticed the worry that flashed through Luna's eyes. She looked at Chloe, and said evenly, "It seems that Chloe has misunderstood something about me. Everyone knows that being beautiful is a gift in this industry. It's the golden meal ticket from God, the one thing other people can ask for but won't get. Why would I hate it? What I hate are the flower vases who have the looks but lack substance and professionalism. Everyone loves beautiful things. I'm sure Chloe understands this point the best, right?" After hearing this, Chloe's expression changed. What she would understand the best? This was obviously a jab at her. She used to be an actress, but because she hadn't been attractive enough, she had struggled to turn herself around to become a manager. She still cared a lot about her looks now, and often got facials and minor cosmetic operations done. This damn Stacy, either she didn't talk much, or everything she said were jabs into her flesh. It was really true that the dogs that don't bark are the ones that bite the hardest. Are you so sure she isn't just a flower vase? Chloe laughed coldly. Whether she is or not will be demonstrated through her work, and not judged based on her looks, the way Chloe has done. With that, Stacy walked directly past her and left. "You," behind them, Chloe stomped off in anger. After that short encounter, all of the gloominess in Luna's heart was swept away, and she bounced happily after Stacy. "Stacy, you were so cool just now. You give off such a safe feeling. But don't worry, I'm definitely not a flower vase, and even if I am at the very least a blue and white porcelain vase with ocean waves, lucky clouds and dragon patterns on it from the Qing Qianlong dynasty. A coexistence of good looks and strength." Stacy gave her a look, the corners of her mouth twitching imperceptibly. "You better practice what you preach. Filming starts tomorrow. When the time comes, I'll accompany you there. Also, it won't be just me, the production crew will open the set to the media, so there will be a lot of reporters. I've emailed you the latest script and shooting schedule. You also know, you have an important scene tomorrow, and it'll really test your acting skills. This is your first battle, make sure you're prepared for it." Actually, during this period, she had already studied Luna's resume and works, and found that this girl's acting was actually not bad, so she was looking forward to tomorrow's scene. "Got it, I will do my best." As she spoke, Luna secretly looked Stacy up and down. No matter how she looked, Stacy appeared a very reliable person, and the more Luna thought about it, the more she felt regret on her behalf. How could a woman like Stacy fall for Adam, that unreliable, fickle golden retriever? Because Stacy was still busy with other things, Bonnie took Luna around on the rest of the tour. Bonnie was very lively, and talked non-stop. Luna learned a lot of company gossip from her. When Eva left, Millie and Chloe were the happiest about it, since they don't have any rivals anymore. Millie is a bigger name than Eva, but look at what she's acted in, they're all trashy commercial films. Most of Eva's movies might have been art films, but they received so many international awards because of them. She is simply in a class above Millie, alright? But it can't be helped, who asked Millie's backer to be so strong? She clearly doesn't have the ability, but shamelessly holds the #1 actress title at Glory World. Millie's backer is very strong? Luna asked. Of course. Luna, you don't know? Bonnie was astonished, then she sidled closer to whisper in her ear, Millie's backer is our CEO Goldberg. Chapter 252. Of course. Luna, you don't know? Bonnie was astonished, then she sidled closer to whisper in her ear, Millie's backer is our boss Goldberg. CEO Goldberg? Don't you mean Cleo? Luna's first thought was of Cleo. It was obvious how little integrity Cleo had in her heart. Bonnie shook her head, then pointed her finger upward, meaning the person above Cleo. Now Luna was really surprised, and she lifted an eyebrow. Theo? Bonnie nodded vigorously, looked around, and said, not so loud, as long as you know about it. Luna stroked her chin. But why hasn't anybody dropped this bomb? There's not even a hint of it outside. Who wants to die, if they dare make noise about the big boss? So only people in the company know about this. Bonnie explained. I see. Not waiting for Luna to ask for more details, Bonnie already couldn't hold herself back, and straightaway started telling her all the gossip. At first, Millie was just a second-tier, third-tier actress. There were so many bigger names above her. In the end, nobody knows how she hooked up with our big boss and obtained his favor. In a short while, all the company resources were presented to her to choose from, and she straightaway went up like a rocket. The more Bonnie spoke, the angrier she became. Our Eva took 10 years to get to where she is today, but ended up being overshadowed by her like that. It's so unfair. Luna listened to the way Bonnie described the rumors as if they were fact. She was sure that it was true, the only thing she didn't know was what kind of relationship Theo and Millie had. Though Bonnie hadn't said it clearly, but from her tone, it sounded like they had slept together. But given her understanding of Theo, Luna naturally couldn't believe all of Bonnie's gossip. Bonnie, who had been talking non-stop, suddenly realized that talking about someone else's might wasn't proper, so she rushed to comfort Luna, But Luna, your backer is also very amazing, you were brought in by our second young master after all. Though Bonnie said this, she still sounded a little disappointed. She used to be Eva's assistant, and this time had moved with Stacy together to work with Luna. When she had been with Eva, everyone showed her respect, but Luna was a nobody compared with Eva, and as her assistant now, thinking about how from now on, she would have to lower her head whenever she saw Millie's manager and assistant, it was hard to avoid the unfairness she felt in her heart. There was no way Luna could have missed the disappointment on Bonnie's face, but Bonnie's reaction was a normal one, so she didn't take it personally. But, that thing with Millie, she couldn't let it pass that easily. After all, during these 7 important days, any tiny detail could affect her decision. Consequently, since Luna had no time to figure it out herself, she took her phone out directly and texted Theo. What is your relationship with Millie? At the same time, Goldberg Corporation. Theo was in a meeting when his cell phone suddenly beeped. As he continued to listen to his subordinate's report, Theo took a look at his phone. Then, all the employees sitting in the meeting room witnessed something that only happened once every 1,000 years. When their lord boss, who almost never smiled when he was at the company, looked at his phone, his face relaxed, and he let out a delighted laugh. Chapter 253. Meeting adjourned. With 2 words, Theo took up his phone and walked out of the meeting room. Luna was waiting for Theo to text her a reply, and was startled when he directly called her back instead. Luna let Bonnie know she was picking up a call, then hurriedly found an empty corner to do so. Hello. I saw your text. Theo sounded happy. Luna picked at the ceramic tiles on the wall with her fingernail. Oh. When she had sent the text, she hadn't thought anything about it, but why did she now feel that something was off? Jealous? Theo's low, rough voice came through the line. Cough, 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 cough. Luna was so alarmed by the word that she burst into furious coughing, then said angrily, Who's jealous? I was thinking that it was important to be clear about the relationships inside the company, so I just asked, that's all. Fuck. No wonder she felt something was off. It looked like she was jealous. If it was just a random question, then I refuse to answer, Theo said. Ha. Luna was struck dumb. Never in a million years had she expected that Theo could actually be so childish. Then what do you want, before you'll tell me? Theo, recall my question. Which question? About being jealous? Actually. When she heard Bonnie guessing that it was an intimate relationship, and she thought about Theo with another woman, in her heart, she had in fact felt a little uncomfortable. But how could she admit that? So Luna said casually, Forget it, if you don't want to answer, I'll just believe that you're sleeping with Millie. Just that can directly send your score down to 0. Theo sighed, and helplessly compromised. Don't worry, there's nothing between us, you don't need to be concerned with her in the company. Then why do people say that you are her backer? And all the resources she had, didn't you ask people to give them to her? Luna didn't understand. I am your private backer, Theo answered. Her face hot, Luna immediately said seriously, answer the question. Don't mess around. Theo laughed. Heh. And no laughing. Theo finally stopped teasing her, and coughed softly. I did give the order, but I had nothing to do with it after that. The reason I gave that order was because you could say that she saved Little Treasure's life once. What? What happened to Little Treasure? Luna instantly became anxious as she asked. Before, in order for him to socialize more, I tried sending him to school. In the end, he lost control of his emotions and ran outside, and almost got hit by a car. Fortunately, another car at that time suddenly rushed out and hit that car, saving Little Treasure's life. The person driving that car was Millie. She had been driving drunk, which was why her car had rushed out like that. So through a strange combination of events, she saved Little Treasure's life. Luna was struck dumb by each thing that she heard. Sheet. I really don't know who was the lucky one, Little Treasure or Millie. So to repay her, you gave that order? She could understand why Theo had done it. Even if she had saved Little Treasure by accident and not by design, she had still saved him. Yes. TCH, she actually really saved Little Treasure's life. That time, why didn't you repay her with yourself? Theo killed her with one stroke. Do you think I would do that for just anyone? Chapter 254. As if that wasn't enough, Theo gave her yet another cold-blooded stab. What's my score now? How can I tell you that? You think I'm dumb? I'm hanging up. My assistant's waiting for me. Luna hung up quickly. She was pathetic. As expected, she shouldn't have any contact with Theo for now. On his end, when Theo finished speaking to Luna on the phone, the smile on his face still hadn't faded. Suddenly on the side, a big face popped into view, complaining bitterly. Brother, tell me, are you hiding something from me? Theo didn't deny it, and lifted an eyebrow. That obvious? Cleo was struck a blow, and he almost lay down to roll around on the floor. Arg, you really are keeping something from me. I'm your brother, your best right-hand man, your warm jacket. How can you hide things from me? Aren't you very good at guessing? Huh. Fine, I'll guess, then. Cleo paced back and forth in the room. After 3 minutes, he stopped abruptly, and looked in Theo's direction. The day before yesterday, you deliberately sent Little Treasure away. At that time, that was 2 days before Luna would start work, and she would be busy getting ready for it, which meant that you didn't have much time either, so these 2 days, you would definitely do something big. Something big, don't tell me it was a confession? Theo, go on. Did that mean he had guessed right? Cleo's eyes lit up, and he continued guessing. The result? Most likely you failed. Otherwise, how could you still be at the company? You would definitely be in bed. Theo. In the end, Cleo made a finger gun at him, and concluded confidently, there can only be one truth. You confessed. Luna didn't accept it, but she didn't reject you either, and she's thinking about it. Furthermore, the possibility at the moment that she will give you a positive reply is very high. That's why you're in such a good mood. Theo looked at his little brother's glowing face, and the corners of his mouth twitched with imperceptible gentleness. He had an aloof personality and was bad at getting along with people. Even his emotional connection to his own biological parents was very thin. The only exception was this little brother. When other people avoided him and were afraid of him, only his little brother would follow him around the whole time. He never cared or got angry that Theo, who always had a cold face on, he went right on making his own guesses since Theo didn't like talking, and when it came to Theo, he always guessed right. Theo already felt that he was blessed, and had never expected that destiny would also allow him to encounter Luna. Next day. From midsummer to early autumn, after experiencing so many ups and downs, the production crew of The World was finally about to start shooting again. Because of changes to the script, Emma and Ethan had much fewer scenes, and the 3 remaining fight scenes which Emma and Luna had yet to shoot had also been taken out, meaning that from now on, Luna would no longer encounter Emma on set. That was a huge weight off Luna's shoulders, and she could finally focus on her acting. Today they would mainly be filming 2 climatic scenes with Luna and Adam. It wasn't just Luna's manager Stacy who had come, Adam's manager Lei Ming had also made an appearance, which was telling of how important these 2 scenes were. Luna and Adam arrived at almost the same time. "Hello, Senior Brother Adam," Luna greeted him sweetly, obediently changing her address of him from Senior Adam to Senior Brother Adam. Hello, Junior Sister." Seeing Luna act like a good little girl gave Adam goosebumps, and he shuddered. After that, his gaze swept carelessly over the person standing next to Luna, Stacy. Chapter 255. Stacy was speaking to Sheldon, and took no notice of Adam's gaze at all. When she was done, she turned to Luna. "Luna, I have some things to discuss with Brother Sheldon. Please go through your scenes with your senior brother." "Okay, Stacy, you go ahead." As soon as she had obediently sent Stacy off, Luna instantly returned to her demon self, and she looked at Adam mockingly. "Tut tut tut, golden retriever, see it, did you see it just not? After I found out that Stacy was your ex-girlfriend, for a long time I felt so sad and regretful for her. I was worried when the 2 of you met, she would be embarrassed. In the end, our Stacy didn't even spare you a glance. So cool. I'm really liking her more and more." Adam ground his teeth and stared at her angrily. "Who the hell told you that she's my ex-girlfriend?" Luna blinked at him. "Didn't you say it yourself?" "Fuck off. I never said anything like that, you made it up yourself." "Who asked you to have such an easily misunderstood expression?" Luna grumbled. After that, she became even more curious. "Even if she's not your ex-girlfriend, what on earth happened between the 2 of you? Why are you so tense around her? When have I ever been tense around her? Luna, can you stop imagining nonsense?" Adam was tormented almost to the point of collapse. In order to get the truth out of him, Luna used a gentler, placating tone. Okay, I'll stop imagining things, so tell me yourself. What on earth happened? What else could have happened? She just used to manage me, that's all." Adam flipped through the script in his hand crossly. Luna was stunned, and widened her eyes. "No way, Stacy managed you? She was your manager?" Adam gave her a disdainful look. "What, got a problem with that? What was that expression on her face?" Luna shook her head, and sighed, "That is even more pitiful than being your ex-girlfriend." Adam's wild personality was well known in the industry. None of the assistants that worked for him had lasted over a week. The reason why Sheldon, this manager, hadn't been switched out after so long was because, despite his burly appearance which made him look a little fierce, he had a very good character and was very patient, and so was able to work with Adam for this long. Luna felt relieved knowing that Stacy and Adam hadn't been involved in that way. Otherwise, if something went wrong in this love triangle, it would be very easy for things to become awkward between the 3 of them. At this time, Bonnie had someone bring over a super luxurious deck chair. "Luna, use this." On set, only the male and female leads or the actors with a higher status could enjoy this privilege. Luna used to sit on a little wooden stool in a corner, or on a normal chair at the most. She never expected that she would one day actually experience this kind of treatment. "Thank you for your hard work, Bonnie," Luna said gratefully. Even though Bonnie had been feeling sorry for herself since Eva left the industry, and she was also not satisfied with her lot in life at the moment, she was still dedicated to her work. "Want to run some lines?" Luna raised her script and asked, determined to carry out her Lord Manager's orders. "Run lines my ass. I didn't sleep the whole night. I need a nap. Leave me alone." Adam covered his face with his script and promptly went to sleep. Luna silently lit a candle for Sheldon, and after that, rejoiced for Stacy, who had already luckily escaped from this abyss of suffering. Chapter 256. Even when getting makeup done, Adam had his eyes closed, and he slept all the way to the start of filming. Director Hopper was already calling for everyone to take their places, and he was still sleeping. Luna couldn't take it anymore, and kicked his chair. Only then did Adam slowly wake up. Today, they would be shooting a fight scene from a battle. Ella's elder brother had been killed by the incompetent Emperor and the enabling Princess Daisy. Little Overlord Ella grew up overnight, put on armor, and entered the battlefield, hence starting her long military career. The general's mansion had undergone a huge transformation, and Chang'an City no longer had a little overlord. After Ella left, Eden finally realized his feelings for her, and resolutely followed Ella onto the battlefield, becoming a military doctor. Normally, a film was shot in order of which backlit the crew was currently on, not according to the development of the story itself. Therefore, they jumped a whole 7 years to today's scene, when Ella had made a name for herself through her outstanding military achievements, even surpassing her father and elder brother's accomplishments. Incited by his treacherous ministers and Princess Daisy, the Emperor had started to fear Ella. He had demanded that she relinquish control of the military, and in order to restrain her, had also arranged her marriage to the incompetent 12th prince. Naturally, Ella would rather die first. And so, during a battle, she encountered the same fate that had befallen her elder brother. She wasn't defeated by the enemy, but set up by her own people. They lacked supplies, and no reinforcements arrived. After a while, they fell into despair. Finally, the ultimate battle for life was at hand. On set, all the staff members were in their places, and the reporters who had been previously invited had all arrived. No one was more nervous than Director David. If anything went wrong again this time, he would really bang his head to death. Naturally, he wasn't worried about Luna, but earlier, just as they were about to start, he had seen Adam still sleeping, as if his condition wasn't very good. It was really stressing him out. AI. Okay. Ready, set. Action. After David yelled, "Action," Luna, who at the last second had still been discussing with Xiao Tao what to eat for lunch, instantly transformed. Dead bodies littered the battlefield, only half of her men were left. Ella was covered in blood, her eyes were scarlet and her face was murderous. She was a weapon on the move: meet God, kill God, meet Buddha, kill Buddha. The moment when her strength almost failed her, and she was attacked from behind, suddenly, the thin figure of a man in blue rushed over as he shouted in warning. "Ella! Watch out!" Only with the man's warning was Ella able to avoid the sneak attack, but when she saw who it was, she was instantly furious. With one bloody hand, she grabbed the man by his collar. "You're in the way. Who said you could be here? Leave." Eden didn't move. "I'm not leaving. If you die, I die." Ella flung him back hard, her face full of ridicule and disdain. "If I tell you to leave, you leave. A pretty boy without even the strength to truss up a chicken, what makes you think you are qualified to die with me?" Eden stood up from the mud and sand, and with a flash of a silver needle, he slit a man's throat open, blood splattering his fair skin. At this moment, he didn't have the compassionate eyes of a doctor, only a cold, killing intent. "How about now?" he asked, looking stubborn and determined. Ella turned her head away, a struggle on her face. At that instant, countless, complicated emotions flashed across Luna's face. At last, she sighed heavily. "You, forget it, do as you like, but don't expect me to protect you." Adam stretched out a hand to gently wipe away the blood on Luna's face. His expression was tender and loving, and on a battlefield of smoke and blood, it was like a blossoming white lotus. "Ella, I am your man, I should be the one protecting you." Chapter 257. Cut. In one take. Everyone watching burst into applause. The reporters looked like they were about to clap their hands off. This scene was an action scene and also an emotional one, so it could be said to be very complex. Absolutely nobody expected it to be completed in one take, so everyone was very pleased and surprised. God! Adam was just so cool. I thought acting as a weak doctor this time would ruin his image. In the end, it was such a surprise. That's right, that's right. Adam's broken out of his stereotypical roles. I also feel that his acting this time has progressed a lot. I don't care about the male lead anymore, I only want to see more scenes of my Dr. Eden. Especially his last line just now, I am your man. Don't you think that was too moving? So deep with emotion. Me too, I feel the same. Before, when he said similar lines to other actresses in emotional scenes like this, I always felt something was missing. Now I finally understand, it's feeling. Adam this time was acting with feeling. Nearby, David was so excited he was about to cry, and he hugged his assistant director. So touched. He never expected things to go this smoothly. The response from the reporters was also especially good. It was a brilliant start. In the lounge. Pleased with himself, Adam humphed. See? I told you there wouldn't be a problem. All of you were worried for nothing. Luna tooted disdainfully. That was because your partner was this big sister. If it was someone else, with your sheety condition today, you don't believe you wouldn't have NG'd at least 20 times? Stop flattering yourself. If it was someone else. NG 19 times at the most. Adam said carelessly. Of course he knew it was because his partner was Luna, which was the only reason why he could act without worry. He wasn't stupid. Luna's strongest ability wasn't just pressure acting, she was also able to instantly bring her partner into the story, and getting them to pass in one take. TCH, Luna, this skill of yours is really abnormal. You're the perverted one. As they were trading insults, Sheldon and Stacy walked in. Sheldon was very excited, and he happily poured Adam a drink and gave him some snacks. Not bad, you did great today, Adam. Totally exceeded my expectations. You must keep this up. Seeing how Adam was being praised, Luna wasn't happy, and she looked at Stacy like a cheeky kid who wanted candy. Stacy, what about me? Stacy wasn't as excited as Sheldon, but was obviously very satisfied. Very nicely done, but don't get cocky, the next scene is the most important one for you. Understood. Luna was already more than happy to get a very nicely done. Nearby, Adam gave Stacy a sideway glance before turning his head away to mutter, who would have thought, after all these years, the tigress would turn gentle. You were never this gentle with me. At this time, Stacy finally looked at him, and said emotionlessly, put yourself in my shoes, if you were me, would you be able to be gentle with yourself? Adam choked. Fuck. Had he really been that much of an asshole back then? Seemed like, he had been pretty bad, and he was still an asshole now. After thinking about it carefully, if he was Stacy, he would really want to punch himself. At this moment, the reporters outside were all anxious to interview Luna and Adam, but were stopped by the director, who told them that they would be given enough time to do interviews after shooting was done, so everyone quietened down after that. Chapter 258. After a break, shooting for the second scene began. Why was this scene the highlight? It was the most torturous scene, and the climax in the whole movie, the important turning point for Ella entering the palace for revenge. This was a crucial turning point, which directly set up Ella's character as well as the audience's perception of her for the second half of the movie. Because of the huge disparity in strength between the two armies, Ella had still lost this battle. She had watched with her own eyes her right-hand man, who had been through fire and water with her, go down under an enemy's horse, his neck broke. She had watched with her own eyes her beloved little brother beheaded by the enemy, his head raised on the tip of a sword as an insult. She had been separated from Eden in the middle of the battle, and by the time she found him, she saw him pierced through by the enemy's arrows. She hadn't even been able to bid him goodbye. Eden. The last string in Ella's heart snapped completely, broken, she dashed over, rolling and crawling. She slumped to the ground, staring blankly at the body full of arrows in her arms, before screaming in utter despair. Tears streamed down her cheeks, creating 2 wet trails through the blood which covered her face. Everyone jolted with shock at Luna's sudden outburst. They had all been brought into the story, their minds and hearts fully engaged. In the next second, Ella picked up her sword, and fought wildly with the rest of the enemy. Though the enemy outnumbered her, they were weak before her demonic fury, and she slaughtered almost 100 of them single-handedly. Luna didn't use a stunt double, and acted the fight scenes herself. Her emotions were on point and her movements beautiful, and she exuded an exquisitely tragic air. After the battle was over, she was the only living person left on the vast battlefield. The entire battlefield was covered with blood and layer on layer of dead bodies, and the enemy's broken flag fluttered in the wind. Tottering, Ella clutched at her chest before falling to her knees. She gasped for breath, her spirit weary and her strength exhausted. After her extreme sorrow and rage were spent, she gently lifted her beloved's head so that it rested on her knees, and cleaned off the dirt on his face with an emotionless expression. This moment of silence was for post-editing to put together a series of images depicting memories of the two of them, but Luna's expression was enough to touch the audience even without images of the memories. The silence also wasn't obtrusive, but made everyone follow the subtle changes in her expression as she recalled all the little details of her and Eden together from the moment they met. Shortly after, the memories ended. Ella's eyes were empty as she stared into the distance. That look crossed the battlefield, the snow mountains and grasslands, and over an endless desert, to a flourishing capital city. It flew over the palace walls into a palace hall full of artifice and treachery, and wandered into the golden palace of rotten pleasures, coming to rest at last on a corrupted emperor and his evil consort. As if a strong gust of wind rife with the smell of blood had blown by, she lifted her chin and closed her eyes. Gradually, the corners of her rosy, blood-red lips lifted unhurriedly, like peach blossoms flowering in winter. Mystical, and extremely beautiful. A smile that could level cities. In the next second, that general who had protected families and guarded the country had already died. Born in her place was an enchantress who would destroy a nation and its people. Generations of the Smith family had been loyal to the country, her father, her 3 elder brothers, her youngest little brother, the love of her life. They had all died on the battlefield, while the emperor that she had dedicated her service to, the people that she fought to protect, were forcing her step by step towards her death. This family, this country, this world, why did it deserve her protection? If that was the case, then, let it all come to ruin. Chapter 259. All the deep and resounding grief, the pain and hatred that wouldn't fade, with just one sinister smile, Luna was able to convey it all. This time, everyone was utterly silent. Until the end of the shoot, no one dared to make a sound, not even to breathe loudly, afraid of disturbing that sad, beautiful soul. There were even a number of people whose eyes had turned red, and their tears fell without them realizing it. It wasn't until director David signaled that filming had ended and the site started to clear that everyone suddenly came back to their senses, and recovered from the sorrow. Holy shit, I actually cried while watching the scene. Wah wah, so did I, so did I. My heart felt so heavy. Dr. Eden. My Dr. Eden actually died. Luna's acting is just too awesome. I realize now, that extras clip they released was just a drop in the bucket. And I finally understand why David stood his ground and insisted on using her. Why isn't Luna the female lead? Compared with the endlessly virtuous and moral female lead, Jenna, Ella, this character is much more profound. In the dressing room, the pain and murderous aura around Luna hadn't faded after her makeup had been removed, to the extent that Bonnie, who brought her lunch, didn't dare approach her. At this moment, Adam pushed the door open and entered. Used to the situation, he said, "Leave the food here, and leave her alone, she'll be fine after a while." Oh. Only then did Bonnie put down the boxed lunch and scurry off, still a little frightened. Luna's appearance just now was really terrifying, as if she had been possessed. About 5 minutes later, Luna got rid of her possessed state, and quickly came back to her senses. She stretched, twisted her neck, and complained, "Fuck. I went too deep this time, I almost couldn't come back." Adam looked askance at her with a black face. Can't you be content? Other people who want to act at your level would need at least several months to come back. Some might even go crazy with it. But for you, you came back in less than an hour, what more do you want? You beast. Because he had been dead the whole time in the scene just now, he didn't know how Luna had done. When he especially went to watch the playback, he had been completely stunned. He almost felt Luna's love for him, as deep as the ocean and which would last forever. Where's my Stacy? I haven't asked Stacy about her evaluation of me. Luna panicked. As soon as she said it, Stacy pushed the door open just then and came in. She was looking at her watch, and she said with a rushed expression, "Luna, I'm going back to the company in the afternoon. Will you be okay by yourself?" So you're leaving. Luna was a little disappointed. "Because I'm already not needed here," Stacy said with a rare smile. Hearing her words, Luna was completely refreshed on the spot. This was undoubtedly the greatest affirmation of her skills and the greatest trust Stacy had in her. "Then go ahead, go ahead. I'll be fine myself. I'll be good. If there's anything, contact me anytime." "Okay, I'll walk you out." After Luna walked Stacy out and returned with a spring in her step, Adam looked at her disdainfully. "Look at your smarmy behavior." Luna returned his disdainful look. You're just jealous that my relationship with Stacy is so good. As a matter of fact, I need to thank you. It's because she had to endure scum like you, that Stacy cherishes me, this obedient baby, more." Adam sneered coldly, his expression saying that she was just too simple and naive. "Go ahead and be pleased with yourself. You're going to have a difficult time in the future. Do you think that woman is easygoing? When the time comes and you're tormented until you start crying for your parents, don't say I didn't warn you." Chapter 260. The completion of the two main scenes was meant to take the whole day today, but because they were completed in one take, they wrapped up within half a day. Therefore, there was more than enough time for interviews in the afternoon. Luna and Adam had a good dynamic, and they basically answered all the questions they were asked. The reporters also gave them face, and didn't bring up any sensitive topics. Seeing that the atmosphere was very good, and after interviewing them about the movie, the reporters began to tentatively ask some personal questions. "Reporter, Adam, I have a question which seems to be asked every time. I can't avoid asking it, and I also want to ask once. What type of girl do you like? In reality, would you like a stronger and more active girl like Ella?" Adam cupped his chin in one hand, and thought for a bit. "I used to like the type that are like cute little birds, but as I've gotten older, I feel that an active and strong girl like Ella is very brave and also very real." After asking Adam, the reporter naturally turned to Luna. "Then Luna, what kind of man do you like in reality? Or, what is your criteria for choosing a spouse? Mind telling us a little bit?" Luna's head hurt a bit, because such a conventional question was actually very difficult for her. She never wanted to get married, and had never thought about finding a spouse. How would she have criteria for that? But the instant the reporter had asked the question, the figure that had flashed through her mind for one quick second was. Luna shook her head, and concentrated on answering the reporter's question. "My criteria for a spouse are that he should be the same age as me, and share common interests and views." Luckily she had prepared for this question, so she was able to reply appropriately. This answer was not perfunctory, and it was also very reasonable. They shouldn't be able to find any fault with it. But at this moment, a female reporter said excitedly, "In that case, our Adam meets at least two of your criteria. The first, Adam and you are of a similar age, and the third, you are both actors, so you should share the same views. As for the second, although at present we don't know whether your interests are the same, since two of the three are already the same, the possibility that you share the same interests is very high." Luna curled her lips and swatted the topic aside. Actually there are many who meet this criteria. It is all up to fate." Beside her, Adam also cracked a joke to head the topic off, and deliberately said, "Don't listen to her explanation, it's just a cover-up. She is actually using me, her senior brother, as her standard for a spouse." Luna played along and said, "Senior brother, do your fans know how narcissistic you are?" 2 hours later, the interview was over. Although the two gripping scenes which the reporters had seen today couldn't be released since it contained plot spoilers, it was fine to release a few clips and extras. Also, the interview had gone very smoothly, and had been rich in content. Luna and Adam had a good dynamic in and outside of the movie. There was plenty to write about or broadcast, and all the reporters left feeling satisfied. After the reporters left, Luna stretched. I'm so tired. Today's battle has been successfully won. I'm going back to the hotel to sleep. Adam glanced at her. Hotel? Why are you staying in a hotel? Luna flipped through the thick script and sighed. It's not like you don't know how important my part is going to be later on, and I have quite a few night scenes. Running back and forth consumes too much energy, so I discussed it with Stacy. During this period, I'll be living with the production crew.